Poverty Law Center. Are you interested in members of Congress that are organized and participating in a Facebook group that has ties to Hamas?
We're not investigating people for participating in a Facebook group.
A Facebook group that is tied to Hamas?
We have multiple investigations into individuals affiliated with Hamas, and they're active investigations.
You're going to tell me as FBI director you will not investigate Americans or United States members of Congress that are linked to known terrorists?
That's not what I said.
Are you going to investigate or not?
We are going to investigate individuals who are affiliated with Hamas if they meet our standards for predication, which are longstanding standards set by this department and the prior department and the department before that.
I would hope to God that Intifada and jihad and terrorists in our very country would be something that you would prioritize instead of a 3-hour event that happened at the Capitol nearly 4 years ago, Mr. Wray. I yield back my time, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Secretary, I know that this last Tuesday night, one of our colleagues also sits on this committee, really decided to waste our time with a very political stunt, which made some deeply unfair and untrue allegations against you, sir. And while I'm glad that 8 Republicans joined us in defeating that resolution, I'd like to take a moment to correct the record for the public and the American people. So, Mr. Secretary, yes or no, is our country currently being invaded?
Congressman, that is a term that I find to be offensive.
And I do as well, thank you. And is invasion, excuse me, this is my time, Ms. Green. Is invasion a responsible way to characterize people who come to the U.S. to seek asylum?
Congressman, I've been asked very often in many hearings now. I heard one congressman actually cite that I've participated in 27 hearings. I didn't realize the number was that large. I am not focused on language. I'm focused on the challenges that we face and making sure that we meet those challenges on behalf of the American people.
Thank you, sir. And is your agency working every day to stop fentanyl from coming into our country?
It most certainly is.
Thank you. And is it true that the overwhelming majority of fentanyl is in fact carried through ports of entry by American citizens into this country?
It is, Congressman.
Is it fair to say that an orderly border actually requires comprehensive immigration reform, which would require congressional action rather than just executive actions?
Congressman, immigration reform is vitally necessary to advancing the security of our border.
Thank you. And Mr. Secretary, I want to thank you. Those are simple questions, but I think that your record keeps being distorted unfairly, and so I want to make sure to give you a chance to clear that up. And I think it's also important to hear how we're talking about security and our threats to the homeland, how the current head of the Republican Party spent Veterans Day just recently. So I want to read you this first sentence. In honor of our great veterans on Veterans Day, we pledge to you that we will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country, lie, steal, and cheat on elections, and will do anything possible, whether legally or illegally, to destroy America and the American dream. Here we see Donald Trump calling his fellow Americans vermin and threatening to root out people based on their political beliefs. This is the kind of rhetoric that reminds me of the worst types of dictators in history, and it's not Trump's first time using this kind of rhetoric. He told an audience in Iowa that immigrants were poisoning the blood of our country. That's a quote. He has promised to violate federal laws in order to build mass deportation camps and promised to restore his Muslim ban. He even wants to cancel legal status for certain categories of immigrants. Donald Trump, of course, has had dinner and hosted open Holocaust deniers and white nationalists. And we all, of course, remember that he praised the white nationalist Charlottesville marchers who chanted, "Jews will not replace us." And of course, he faces federal felony charges for his role in the January 6th insurrection.
If you're a business owner, then animated